the things. It's about as fast as I can do it. Although it was good that I stream's current bitrate is lower than recommended. Should be fine now. How do I look? Do I look okay? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Live on YouTube, thanks, Mr. Certainly. Live on Twitch, thank you again, Mr. Certainly. I don't know why the YouTube streaming thing is telling me my bitrate's still low. Thanks, Juan Carlos. Hi, Jim Hendrickson. Charles, I hope the suspense wasn't too terrible. All right, my timestamps will be a minute off. Oh, I almost had it. Let me add it to my notes. Reset timestamp counter when starting stream. If only it was on there, I would have gotten it. All right. Ben says, the last weeks have been fun. I've learned a lot. Looking forward to the stream. Thank you. Ah, awesome. And Mr. Certainly's back on Discord. Yeah, we're starting a little bit late. John Park wanted to see the MagTag rollover to say that I was streaming tomorrow, but hopefully you all got the message. Just realized that I don't have opening music. Yeah, I can't hit that bar that all of the other Adafruit streamers do. They've got more put together than I do. I'm getting there. Hi, Keith E. It's been a busy day. It's been busy. It's good busy, though. We're taking off for the weekend, so I've been, like, scrambling around to get stuff for that done, and I saw a friend. We went for a walk outside with masks. That was good. Yeah, it's just kind of like this is the last full week before the holidays, and so it's been kind of a bit busy. Had a number of meetings and stuff, but it's all right. I don't mind. The others do not have a cat cam, and let me tell you how lucky you are. When I got back to my desk, just like after lunch, Spook was in his crate where you can't see him, but he decided to move out into the bed because he knew we were streaming, and wanted to be on the cat cam for you. Explain the t-shirt. This is a t-shirt that Nina designed, I think. Nina Zakarenko. It was a giveaway at PyCon US last year. It's a Microsoft shirt. I think they put the logo on she wasn't very happy they put the logo, but yeah, these are like the VS Code Python logo stuff. So yeah, I like wearing this shirt. It's a good one. Fits me well. But yeah, it's good. Things are good. I'm excited. We'll talk about here about plans. So this is also the last stream of the year for me. And then I think I'll just do the Friday of that first week, which is like the 8th. It's a bit of a ways away. It's like, I don't know, how many do we miss? I got the dates all wrong. It's the 17th today, so we would have done the 25th and the 1st, right? Like to the 2 holidays. So we'll miss 2 weeks, but we'll be back in January on that first full week, which is kind of like, I think that's a good week to start because that's the week that I expect like all of the shows get back into their rhythm. Even though there is like MLK Day, but that's a Monday. But yeah, that's the plan, I think, for I'm looking forward to having a bit more quiet, less busy time during the holidays, but I do have some projects I'm excited about that I want to experiment with. I'm going back. I guess I'm going a little bit backwards, but if you don't know, let me take a time code for housekeeping. That was 5 minutes. And I don't think I shared the doc, so let me actually post the link to the doc. Yeah, I hope everybody has a good holiday. Time to rest and recharge is always always a good thing. Yeah, so if you don't know, my name is Scott. I work for Adafruit on CircuitPython, which is so nice. They've been supporters from the very beginning. It was their idea to do MicroPython on Adafruit stuff, and then we evolved it into CircuitPython. So they pay me. I work remotely. I'm in Seattle. It's a sunny day, at least right now, which is pretty nice. I sat outside eating lunch. They're based in New York. If you want to support me, you can support them, me indirectly through them by going to adafruit.com. We have lots of interesting prototyping projects, like electronics projects. So the whole goal is to teach you how to make stuff that that work for you and do what you need. CircuitPython is the software side of that goal, and it's all open source, meaning you can take the code, you can see all the code that I write, that a number of us write, this is the deep dive. I do these usually Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific, but today is a Thursday. I'm taking off for a long weekend, so I shifted it a day early. But yeah, we go usually for about 2 hours, so we'll shoot for 4 o'clock again. And if you have questions, I'm happy to try to answer them. Mark Olson just asked a question saying, do you know much about AVR fuses? And the answer to that is I have no idea about AVR fuses. I've only got into like microcontrollers with the Cortex-M series. So I've never really, like I did a little Arduino with the at Megas, but I've really not done any 8-bit micro stuff. Really just jumped right into the Cortex-M when I was learning it. Yeah, if you want to chat with me and a number of other folks, I will be around generally over the holidays, but I'll just be like taking myself less seriously. And so I'll be on the Discord. A lot of us other folks will be on the Discord. I think it's interesting. You can join the Discord by going to adafru.it/discord. We'd love to have you there. But I think what I was going to say is I think it is interesting that like much of the audience of Adafruit and the customers of Adafruit are hobbyists, which means that they're actually more likely to engage with us like outside the week. And so it's like kind of the opposite of what I try to do on Discord. So I do try to when I am working, I do try to like keep attention to what has been going on. So I will try to like circle back and take a look at things. Somebody in the YouTube chat says, you play now Minecraft. I played Minecraft ages ago and I loved it. But I will not be playing Minecraft on the stream. So that's most of the housekeeping, and I forgot to take a time code. I think it was 5 minutes. I looked at that. Because this is a long, like typically 2-hour stream, I do try to keep track of where we are in terms of like what we were talking about during the video. So I'll put that in the description. Somebody was kind enough to point out to me that if I structure it in a particular way, it will actually segment the video on like the timeline on the bar, which is super helpful too. So I do try to get that going. So yeah, that's, I linked it in the Discord if you want to help me out, take notes. The last piece of housekeeping, I think I already said that basically like this stream's not happening for the next 2 weeks. We'll be back January 8th. Keep an eye on the blog. I'll make a blog about it. I'll try to do it earlier than I normally do, and I'll try to have it correct. I had a lot of trouble with the blog post for today, actually, which I can go into if you want. Hi, Mike. Yeah, so keep an eye on the blog. Also keep an eye on the blog for the CircuitPython 2021 posts, kind of the kickoff post, and what we're going to hear from a lot of folks, which is really exciting. It's fun to think about what we want CircuitPython to be kind of in the broader, longer term parts. So I expect I'll plan on like drafting that in the work time that I do work up until New Year's Day. The last piece of thing, I just like to warn folks that the cat is epileptic, meaning he does have seizures occasionally. He's been doing better, so it's really unlikely that he does. But if I'm like standing here without headphones on and like not talking to the stream, that's why. But I'll come back on once he's done and I know he's safe, and then we'll keep going. All right. So that is housekeeping. If folks have questions, go ahead and ask them. It looks like we don't have quite the group that we have on Fridays, which goes to reinforce my point of that we engage with more folks on Fridays instead of Thursdays, which is totally fine. And I'm not always good about like letting people know, but that's that. So on the agenda today, the things that I was thinking of is, of course, we'll talk questions. So if folks have questions, I did get 2 goodies in the mail. Jeremy says, I just got an Adafruit IMU, pumped to try it out. Awesome. Hatim is asking, what is my cart graphique? And I'm not sure what that means. So if anybody understands that, let me know, and I'm happy to answer. So I got 2 more goodies in the mail. This is something we've been talking about a lot, the Power Profiler Kit 2 from Nordic. So I've been using the Dual Scope, which is not running right now, so let me just show you. The Dual Scope is a lot pricier, but it's also a tool. So these are 2 tools that are for battery monitoring. Here's the Dual Scope. I bought this maybe a year ago. And one thing I did is I actually produced or created my own faceplate. And I really like this faceplate. I've been doing a lot of this debugging recently. And my killer feature is the I added a USB data line switch. So you plug like your computer. No, this is where you plug the device you're testing. And then on the other side, you plug in your computer. And then the power runs back through the board that's in this case. And it measures the power. And then the USB data lines just go across the front. And I have this chip here that does just like turning the... It's actually a switch, but it just like one side of the switch is disconnected. So that's how I turn the data lines off and on. It's been really helpful. Having a USB switch when you're doing early port work especially is really nice. If your USB gets messed up, it can actually like really mess up other devices on your computer. Like if you're testing a device on your USB hub and that USB hub is also connected to like your keyboard and mouse, it can be actually like really bad if the device is misbehaving and therefore like your keyboard and mouse stop working. So I think that like having a switch on the data lines is really, really helpful, and I recommend it. Jeremy asks, what's the coolest 1-2 from Adafruit in your opinion? Do you mean product? 1 or 2 products? Oh, interesting. Mike says, same with power over Ethernet. You can take out your whole house. Yeesh. 1 to 2 products, yes. Well, I think that I need to get back to this, but one of the flagship that we have currently is this MagTag. We've done a lot of work on the stream for it. Let me not unplug this part. And John Park was just showing it as well. I'm sorry, my camera's like, I look down and it loses track of my face, and so it changes the brightness. Doesn't help that it's like super bright behind me. But this is the MagTag. It's just showing an error message right now. But it's Wi-Fi connected, which is really neat. And I had it doing like an alarm clock thing where it would show the time, and then on the bottom it would show like the weather per hour. And I really like that a lot. So I think this is a cool product. I think like the classic thing for let me switch to the desktop. Like the classic Adafruit product is the Circuit Playground Express, which I guess is not the one I would recommend. Like the Circuit Playground is definitely what I would recommend, but we now have the Blue Fruit playground is actually the thing that I would recommend for folks now. It's just got a lot of stuff all on board. That's like just really easy to get started with. And Bluetooth is really nice because you can interface with your phone, and you can interface with your computer. And there's work I want to do about that as well. A team is asking about fixing your computer. Dude, you're watching the wrong stream if you want to fix your computer. Neradoc says, I'm very partial to Circuit Playground Express, but the clue is quite interesting. Yeah, so I think like I would actually go for the NRF over the Express at this point. It has, let's see, it's not, yeah, it is faster. So the thing with the Circuit Playground Express is that it's the SAMD21 still, which means that it's like not, it doesn't have a lot of RAM. It only has 32K RAM. So by getting this, the NRF52840, you'll have a lot more RAM, which is like really helpful for CircuitPython. And we got a lot of questions now, so that's good. Let me try to be a bit better about updating the doc with those. So let's just add some empty bullet points there. That previous one was like favorite product. So yeah, I think that if I had to pick two, those are two of my favorites. Electromaker asks, which products are you most excited about that will be released in 2021? That's a good question. I think the way that I see, like, I have to think, I've been thinking a lot about, like, I'm always trying to look for something that allows us to do something we can't do already, right? So it's, the things that interest me are the things that unlock something that we couldn't unlock before. And like Adafruit has this sweet spot of really making it easy to access technology that's all around us, but may not be like well documented to folks. So like the sweet spot for Adafruit, because cost matters. Like we want, cost is something that is a barrier for people. It's keeping an eye on things that you have all around you, but like you can't, like that have been kind of unlocked to the hobbyist sort of market. So in that vein, I think the IMX RT is really interesting. This is something that like we've wanted to do for a while, and like the Teensy 4.0 and 4.1 have these chips on it. But I would like we're gonna have some. I think it's safe to say that like at some point we will release some boards of that, and I think the key to that board and the thing that allows us to do that the other ones can't is that it has high-speed USB on board, and it's like 500 megahertz. So it's in this interesting spot where like the low end has high-speed USB, but it doesn't have a lot of RAM, but it is really fast. So I think I'm excited to see the IMX RT be released. Because of high-speed USB, the S2, like the ESP32-S2, which this stream is like documented our development of that work. You're going to see that in a lot more boards. Hello, Unexpected Maker. I think you're going to see the S2 really like kind of blossom into the full, maybe not the full line, but a lot of the like the form factors that Adafruit has. I think that's safe to say. And I'm really like more and more happy with where we are in terms of supporting that. It's still not perfect, but we've made a whole lot of progress thanks to a lot of you to do that. So I think the S2 is exciting. So yeah, like those are some things that like I could forecast kind of like into the like first part of next year. A lot of what we do kind of in the longer term depends on things that you see come out, which we don't usually have knowledge about. So Yeah, Mike asks, is the SAMD51 version of the CircuitPython Express in the works? I don't know. I mean, like, there's nothing on this. Oh, maybe I should take another. I'm like having some trouble seeing my screen because it's so bright in here. And I like set it all to this like super dark mode. But is the Sandy 21 version or Sandy 51 version of the CPE in the works? I don't think so. It's certainly something that Lamore could do, but I think kind of the time that the 51 would come along was kind of eclipsed by the NRF52840. And if you need something that like is comparable to the 51, like the NRF52 is like 52840 is pretty comparable. And I think that like if you heard me before, I think one of the things that I would really like to do in the new year, and I put this the last 2 years too, so like no promises. But I really would like to figure out how to do CircuitPython over BLE, in the sense that like we can actually have CircuitPython proper on devices that don't have USB but only have BLE access. And in particular, something from my desk is the microbit V2s. So these have like a stripped down version of they have a stripped down version of the NRF52840. They have the NRF52833, if I remember right, which has like half the flash and half the RAM, but still like is pretty significant. The problem is they didn't connect the USB lines again. So I would like us to do that, and I saw a +1 from Mr. Shirtley in the chat about it. The nice thing about that is that like we already have the hardware for it, right? Like the Circuit Playground Bluefruit would automatically get all of that BLE stuff or all of that BLE goodness too. So I think, yeah, I don't really see why you would do a SAMD 51 Circuit Playground. I don't think there's much cost benefit to not doing like the 840. Okay. I did have a question from DCD asks, is that an external antenna on your MagTag? No, it's not. The stuff on my MagTag is just debugging access. Sorry, it sees my face. So these two, the yellow and the green there, those are just TX and RX. And then this is me just getting, I'm not using these two. And then this is just for the ground reference for the UART. So it's not an external antenna. And then the last question, I think, is, well, Juan Carlos asks, do you know if MakeCode support will come to the Circuit Playground Bluefruit? I don't. MakeCode stuff is done by Microsoft, so it's a question for them. But yeah, I don't know. Here's a good follow-up question too. So Juan Carlos also asks, do you think there will ever be a graphical version of CircuitPython similar to MakeCode? That would be a great way for kids to start and then not have to recode when you move into straight CircuitPython. Welcome, Bruce. Sorry I'm on a different day. We did start a bit late too because John Park wanted to go his full hour, which is totally cool. So there are a couple interesting things in this vein, and you can see my screen. So there's EduBlocks, which I met the developer of at the PyCon that I got the shirt at. So if you look here, I don't remember. I think they announced it. They are actually getting some funding from the Raspberry Pi Foundation, I think. So they have CircuitPython support. So this is like it's Blockly, which is kind of the thing that everybody starts with. And it generates Python code directly. And the blocks themselves are very much labeled as such. So if you want like straight up block based programming that interfaces with CircuitPython, this is the way to start. I do have these like grand visions of what like a mobile code editor would look like, and it looks like something between EduBlocks and like text coding. But that's been like something mentally blocking me from getting just like the bleaf file transfer stuff going. And so I think I need to, hopefully when I get to it, I'll need to like focus on just doing the underlying stuff so that people can build on top of it. But right now, this is their best option. One is to do EduBlocks, and I think they were working on iPad support. I think is what they were doing. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. That's where I would start. The MakeCode does have Python support, but it doesn't generate CircuitPython compatible stuff. It does something else. I don't know why. I think they needed it to be like done pretty quickly. Benny says, Espressif acknowledged the country.cc issue we discussed on Discord. Do you want the PR that adds country to Wi-Fi as a draft before Espressif fixes available? It's up to you. Generally, I try to be kind of stingy about having pull requests open, because like the number of pull requests that are open does kind of like reflect on the health of the project, and the more you have open, the more it implies that you don't stay on top of it. So I've already kind of given up on our issue count. Like our issue count keeps growing slowly, but it does keep growing. But pull request count, we're actually doing a pretty good job of keeping down, and I would like to do that. So if you can, I would say just sit on the changes you made until it's fixed upstream. If you have other stuff in it, you could do that other stuff. But otherwise, I would say like drafts are okay, and it's nice to keep track of. One thing you could do is if there's an issue around it, create an issue, or if there's an issue linked to your branch. But a draft PR, like I don't know why they do this. Like I would prefer it if they didn't count draft PRs. Like you can see here, we're at 18. Like my dark theme's very dark. It's been so rainy. It's been rainy all week here, so like I haven't had to like deal with the glare like I am right now. Maybe I should undarken it. But yeah, like we have a few that are open and have been open for a while, and I really should just close those. It's just like one of those things that if you don't stay on top of it, it quickly gets overwhelming. So it's important to stay on top of it. All right. Should we unbox? Is that Manjaro? It is not Manjaro, it's Arch. But I don't know why I felt like I really wanted to go like full dark mode. And it's been fine, except for now. Like I have a white wall behind me that's reflecting sunlight. So maybe I need to tone down the dark mode a bit. But I kind of wanted to do it. I got this like icon set that's like kind of neat. But I don't know. I'm experimenting. That's one thing I like about Linux a lot, is that you have so many different options. It is KDE, but I like just themed it differently. Okay, so let's do something. I think I said I was going to do the pin alarm stuff. I wonder if Dan's around. I thought about doing... why did you switch? Keva says, I used Arch with BSPWM. BSP window manager, I assume is what it is. PWM's like totally a hardware thing. And just switched to Manjaro. Yeah, I've liked Arch a lot. I like my first distribution. Well, I learned Linux with Linux from scratch, which is like literally a book on how to run it. But then I went to Gentoo, and I liked Gentoo for a long time because they had really good wiki docs. Like, everything was really good. And I feel like Arch has kind of filled that role more. Although I think I stumbled across Gentoo recently, and they like had a bit more of a resurgence on how fresh their docs were. But I don't really care to compile everything, so Arch is kind of like, I like rolling releases, meaning that like they are perpetually updating stuff. So yeah, I like Arch. Yeah, I was gonna see if Dan is around. So I wanted to, or I have a PR. Oh, sorry, Charles. I just see your question about whether I'm deep diving. Looks like Dan's gone, so I'm not going to bother him. I was actually considering maybe one thing we'll do next year is we could do guests on the show. So if like Dan and I are working on something, or Jeff and I are working on something, we could actually like have a voice from whoever I'm working with, kind of, and we could kind of pair program on the stream, which I think would be cool. Bruce says I'm on Manjaro as well. On one laptop works well. Interesting. Okay, let's do the overhead stuff. I think I have to unplug it and plug it back in, but because it's nice and frozen like it does. But I think I can pull it out and plug it back in. It's actually been relatively reliable to do that. Oh yeah, Folknology says I was playing with K-Editor for the first time in years. It's quite cool, especially if you use Sublime. I use Kate for ages too. DCD says yes, guests would be cool. Yeah, maybe I could even get Lady Ada on it. I like working with a more. Okay, overhead, hover cam. Okay. There we go. It is based on Arch. I think you're right, yeah. It has a dark mode. I feel like I pulled it up briefly and it like didn't do something, or it was a bit weird. I used to love that on the left-hand side it would color the files based on like what order you had like last done them in. But I'm kind of like, I was coming from Mac and I was coming from Sublime Text on there, so I'd like already paid for it. So it wasn't a big deal to move my key over. Okay, so one thing, if you followed what I have on my dream wish, actually this is my life, like even during the CircuitPython thing too. Somebody already got the time code for me. Thank you. One of my dream wishes is making it easier to access HDMI from CircuitPython. So this is, like I was talking about, one of the things that I think that Adafruit excels at is like making it really easy to use technologies that you have all around you. So I think that to unlock the TV, whatever, like you need HDMI. And so I am really interested because the Raspberry Pis, the Broadcom chip on the Raspberry Pis are really like, they are geared towards HDMI. And in fact, I've talked about this on the stream before, but it's the GPU that boots up the CPUs on there. So it's actually pretty easy to get everything going and then run whatever you want on the CPUs. So one of my things that I want to do is I want to get a hold of these what do they call them? My brain. CM4. Because these are really interesting because they can go on all sorts of different form factor devices. Compute module, thank you. Yeah, so imagine that we get CircuitPython support for... So this is the same chip as the Raspberry Pi 4. So we could run on the Raspberry Pi 4. We could also run on here. I have even on my desk, I have the Pi Zero as well. Like, they're actually all very similar. Thank you, Charles. They're all very similar. I don't think like the hurdle to get CircuitPython bare metal on these devices is like it is a hurdle, but it's a hurdle that applies to basically all of them. So I finally got my hands on this. Adafruit had these in stock. These are like the lowest of the low end for the compute modules. I didn't originally pick it up. I was making an order. I originally didn't snag it, but then I noticed that Digikey, who I was making an order for, had the I/O boards in stock, because these are on their own are like kind of useless. Like you have to have a board to plug them into. So there's the board itself. And what can I compare it to? Here's a, what's this, a Pi 3A, I think? Yeah, this is an A+. So you can see, like this is smaller than a normal Raspberry Pi as well. So the reason I have the A+ actually is that the thing that you also have to look out for is how the USB is connected from the chip itself out on the board. And the A series, they connect directly between the chip and the one USB plug. But all of the other ones usually have a host, or not a host, a hub chip. That's how they get multiple plugs on the USB, is that it's like actually a shared connection back. The Pi 4s, however, are a little bit different. The Pi 4s actually do have a hub chip, but the hub chip is connected over PCIe rather than over another USB link, which means that like the Pi 4's USB link, the native one from the chip that only does full speed or high speed, is actually connected to the power connector. The other nice thing is that because the compute module just has basically all of the pins, or a lot of the pins, broken out on these two connectors here, is that you can design boards to like act the way you want them and expose the things you want. So I'm very excited about this. I really would like to do CircuitPython bare metal at some point. And so I picked this up when I saw it, because they're still kind of hard to get a hold of. Like I had to order the I/O board from another place, and I have like a Newark. Oh, there's my UPS is delivering the I/O board right now with my Digikey order. Maybe I'll run down and grab it so we can show that too. Let me know in the comments if you want me to go get my Digikey. What else is in that box? Just another box thing. I think I could show everything in there. Yeah, so this is really exciting. The other exciting thing is, if I go back to the desktop, Mark says go get it. Charles said yes, they also separated out the Ethernet from the USB hub. Live unboxing. Yeah, the only thing is I'd rather not have my address on it, so I'll open it off camera and then I'll show you. The other thing, I think I showed this as well. Timon, I need to watch that video again. But this Pioneer is really interesting. So this is an idea that I pitched to him, and it's a carrier board for the module that's shaped like a Metro, which I have here. So if you go back to the overhead, you should go get it before someone else does. Well, I noticed, like, I saw the UPS person walk by. They at least like respected our desire to put it behind the house. Like our front door is right next to the sidewalk, but we have a garage out back and we have folks put stuff there. But basically, like, you fit the module in between these connectors, and then you can treat Pi kind of like an Arduino Metro instead. So I think that's going to be really neat. Hey, Paul. Fashionably late. We were late too, so that's how it goes before the holidays. But this board's really cool. I think it's going to be produced, which is really exciting. And yeah, I think it's really cool. Oh, Mark makes a good point. We could do full screen cat cam. Hi, Arson. We're doing unboxing stuff at the moment, but maybe we'll get to some coding later. Although we're almost in an hour in. Although we started late. But yeah, let me... the package that I was getting from Digikey just was delivered, and it has the carrier board for this that I'm really actually curious to look at. So I'll full screen cat cam on Spook. Hopefully it'll be all right, and I'll be right back. I'll go snag it. Hi, Johnny. So let me do cat cam, and I'll be right back after I grab the package. You may have been able to see the person walk by. Okay. Probably on the barcode too. Digikey order covering my address. And I will open it. Am I making too much noise, Spook? He just wants me to pet him. Let's be real. I pet him a little bit before I ran down. Yeah, the sidewalk's just out there, so you'll see people go by. So I think the only other thing that's in here, and the reason I made the order, I kind of do that is like, when I make Digikey orders, I take a look. Oh. The inside thing also has my address on it. It's like thoroughly wrapped. So the only other thing that I got in this order was a box from Hammond that is going to hold some 2 feathers that will run. We have NeoPixel strips around our... Hi, Jaron. Probably saying that wrong. I'm sorry, but welcome. My dog would be in that window. Loves people watching. Yeah. Yeah, the cats love it. Like, even downstairs, we had, like, the whole house is kind of oriented to the sidewalk. And the cats just love to sit there and watch all the people go by. Interesting. I haven't seen them wrap it. Wait, well, maybe the last one they did. Had like long saran wrap. Hey, Timon, I made it in the garbage can too. Okay, so things I got in here. Let me switch to product mode so it knows. Is the compute I/O board that I'll show in just a second. And then the only other, maybe you saw that, it's fine. Just the invoice with my address on it. The only other thing I got is this box. Hammond makes like really awesome project boxes, and I wanted one that I I wanted a box that I could put on the wall, but only on the wall during the holidays when the lights around the windows are being run. So I found this box from them. It's got these holes, so it has flanges to mount to the wall. And the nice thing about these holes is that what we'll be able to do is we'll have 2 screws on the wall that we'll just hook it onto. And we could leave the screws there, but we don't want the box there the whole time. So this gives me another thing to do before I'm gone this weekend, which shouldn't be too bad. Yeah. That is exactly what it is. It's a I/O board. I was gonna play around with it, really show it off. I've been waiting for it. Let's go back to the overhead. Overhead. Is it live still? Yep. I was already talking about you. So I'm opening the compute module board. And this is cool. So basically what this is this is the board that you want to start developing with, because it basically outputs all the things that you could output from the compute module. So there it is. I'll have to back it out a little bit. I'm excited. I won't have time to play with this immediately, but we can take a look at it at least. So it's pretty large. Like you can see the Metro. There's a Metro. And there's the compute module board. Still pretty big. So yeah, it's a pretty big board, but the reason is that they want to like break everything out so that you can use everything. Core 32 says, "Are you from the real Adafruit?" I work for the real Adafruit. So I work for Adafruit on CircuitPython, but I work remotely, so I'm in Seattle. I'm not in New York. And you thought those push buttons are big. Yeah, so there's a PCIe 1X slot. I think it's PCIe 2. And then the module goes here. And I don't actually know. So it looks like the orientation, the only way to know is that it's offset. The plugs are offset because there are so little viewers. I don't know, 42 viewers is pretty good for me. I think they broke over 100, but yeah. That's fine. People watch it after the fact too. So I'm just trying to get this on there. And these connectors are kind of delicate. There we go. That sounded okay. This is the official Adafruit channel. And I officially work for Adafruit, so I don't know what the conundrum is. Oh, let me turn the light on. That's a bit better. The sun started to go away. Yeah, so this board's really great. This is the board that's really good to develop before you have your own. And so there's the PCIe's broken out. You have your standard 40-pin Raspberry Pi header. If you want to do that, I think these are camera and maybe screen as well. Let's see what it says. Yeah, it says camera, display 0, display 1, and then 2 full HDMI. So like a Raspberry Pi 4 can do like 2 4Ks at the same time, which is pretty wild. Yeah, Jorg is saying real-time clock, which I think is this. That's why there's a battery there. There's like a second camera on the end. Ethernet. So 2 HDMI, Ethernet. There's 2 host USBs, and then this is the thing that I was excited about. This is a USB device. So this is the thing that we would use for CircuitPython to make it act like CircuitPython. And then because this version that I have is the no MMC, no Wi-Fi, I would have to put something in this SD card slot here. And then this is all power on the side. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that I would need to prototype CircuitPython on there. It might need better focus. Is it out of focus? I can. Oh yeah, because I moved it, didn't I? Sorry, is that better? Oh, that looks much better actually. Sorry, I moved it and then forgot to hit refocus. But yeah, so 2 display, 2 camera, 40-pin Raspberry Pi with power over Ethernet, I think. And then the PCIe, SD card, USB device, USB host, Ethernet, 2 HDMIs. Basically allowing you to use everything that's on there. Thank you. Sorry I didn't do that sooner. Yeah, and Professor Sparkle points out that the normal 4B can do device 2 on its USB-C power port. Yeah, I know that. I just am a little worried that... where are you streaming on? I'm on Twitch here. Yeah, we have it on... We're on Twitch. Most of the conversations are from YouTube, but we have Discord as well. And we stream to LinkedIn and Periscope too. But yeah, Discord is adafru.it/Discord. We'll get you there. Free holidays project idea. Lights with light sensors, so when the sunlight dips to the cloud, the lights ramp up to keep the same desired light level. I'm not exactly... Well, that makes sense for holiday lights. In this case, because it's like starting to be darker, like my front light is now a bit bright. DCD says, will this be bare metal CircuitPython or under Linux? I'm particularly interested in bare metal CircuitPython, but I think Professor Sparkles is looking at doing Linux, making Linux act like CircuitPython, which is a really neat idea. So I think hopefully maybe you'll have both options. Need a power delivery capable port that does the USB-C powerful profile at 3 amps. Yeah, that's my complaint about how the 4B is wired to the USB device. So you can't just plug it into any port. It actually has to be able to power the thing. Okay, so that's the first unboxing with a surprise to it. And unfortunately, I think I'll just set this away because I've got other stuff that I'm doing currently. But this is going to be cool. This is what I need when I do get to the bare metal CircuitPython stuff. Because of the compute module, then we'll be able to make boards that kind of like have USB devices a first class feature of the board itself. What? The CM4 is very low power, but the USB peripheral active gives you around 240 milliamps at idle. Surprised they went PCIe over M2. Yeah, for the connection? I don't know. I mean, like, you put PCIe lanes on an M2 connector as well. I mean, I would say that they didn't have enough board area, but like it's pretty chunky. So they probably did. Okay, maybe I'll put that back in the box actually. Yeah, I have a bad habit of when I am on Digikey, I buy things. If you only connected USB and nothing else. I'm surprised that the USB peripheral takes 240 milliamps. Because like USB, like that peripheral's in a lot of microcontrollers. And it definitely doesn't take that much in microcontrollers. Okay, this is the other thing I wanted to show. And we talked about this the last couple of weeks, and I like ordered it from Digikey, but I ordered it too late. But it actually came back into stock pretty quickly, which is awesome. Right. And with Linux, you have to enable the USB stuff in device tree overlay, which is another reason I want to do it. Bare metal CircuitPython. Okay, let's take this up. I thought we'd actually get this going. So take a scissors to the sticker. I would have gone the other way. Yeah, done M2 instead of PCIe. Yeah, looking forward to bare metal Raspberry Pi. Yeah, I know. I've just got so much stuff I want to do. Or like I really would like to do I would like to do like all the all the build stuff that I'd like to do too, in order to make that easier. Okay, so we got some cables, which I didn't actually expect. And then we've got a Rojas bag or a anti-static bag. No stress. It's all good. I like try to take these like this holiday period for if I'm going to do work, I'm going to do stuff I'm interested in. So I'm excited for that. Okay. So this is comparable. Comparable might not be the right word, but this does the same job that the dual scope does that we've been using previously on the stream. It is a way to measure the power of a device that's connected to it. So it looks like what the cables are for. It's cool. It's in this. It's got this bottom plasticky case, so it's like well designed to just sit on my desk here, which is awesome. There's 4 screws that you could take off. I looked at this before. The chip on here is the NRF 52840. There's an on-off switch here for power. And then it looks like there's also USB power only, and then USB data and power. So I think this is geared towards, I don't know how this works actually. I was thinking this would be, if this was a USB type A, I'd be able to go out into the device that I want to power. But I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to work. So wouldn't it be nice if somebody had just written a Learn Guide about this? And in fact, Dan did. So I think that new guides, view all. Oh, look at that. Deep Sleep with CircuitPython. Is it in here? So this is a hot off the presses guide from Dan about doing deep sleep in CircuitPython. We have these cute Blinka logos. It talks about a lot of the stuff that we've talked about already. We got some bad news about light sleep. Pretending to sleep, what woke me up. Dan just added, and I should say this, the ability to write to memory that gets preserved across sleeps, including deep sleeps. So if you want to store something so that you're aware of what happened before you went to sleep, you could do that as well. And there's an example. And then I think here, yeah, recommending the Power Profile Kit 2. So that's what we've got. And here's an example of what it looks like. But it doesn't look like it has... Oh no, it has light sleep. I think we're going to have to change how light sleep works because I heard back from Ivan saying that light sleep turns everything off except the RTC and preserves the CPU and the RAM. But it means that like the way that we say light sleep works in CircuitPython is that as you light sleep, like all the things that were going on still go on. For example, like if you do digital in out, like all those things still work. But that turns out that's not the case with the light sleep as the ESP IDF defines it. So that's a bit of a bummer, and I think we're going to have to decide whether we actually use it. Or what we could keep track of is like if you don't do anything with any of the peripherals, then we could light sleep. But yeah, looks like there's no getting started here. But I think that if we look at the box has a URL. So let's go there. I think I already have the software installed, but let's just pull it up. Ah, thank you, Dan. Dan posts in the Discord chat, the PPK2 is powered via standard 5-volt USB cable, which can supply up to 500 milliamps of current. In order to supply up to a 1 amp of current, 2 USB cables are required. High tech for kids. Okay, so here we go. We already bought it. Documentation. The PC software is a separate power profiler app running in the NRF Connect for Desktop framework, which I think I have. So let's just do NRF. No. I thought Arch has NRF Connect. What are we doing today? Well, we just did some unboxings of the Compute Module 4 from the Raspberry Pi, the Pi 4 stuff, and talked about what I want to do there. But right now what we're doing is we're just getting going, setting up this Power Profile Kit 2, which is a under $100 device that can track how much power you're using. So I'm curious to use this to check and see what the MagTag is drawing. And then, yeah, I'm not exactly sure how I'll do that. I might have like mismatched plugs. Although I could probably run it through here. I could probably run it through the stemma port. I'll have to look at the schematic to do that. But maybe I could do that. I don't know. Does Dan even talk about that? 3.7 volts to the board. We might have to breadboard it. Measure to be sure. Yeah, this is one thing we wanted to make sure and emphasize to folks is like, just because we have deep sleep support in CircuitPython doesn't mean that you can't, like, you can assume that deep sleep's going. Like, it's, if it matters to you how much power is being consumed, you should really get a device like this that you can make sure and know exactly like the behavior of the project that you're working on in terms of power. Okay, so let me move the Joule scope out of the way, which is off screen. And I'll yank the power out of that. Oh, and I was gonna see if I have NRF Connect. That is important as well. But it would be nice if I could at least get one trace here. And then we do have some work that we could do. Like I have real work to do. I had pin alarm working, except it's crashing. And so I was hoping to do a little bit of work on that as well. It's so frustrating. Like it is crashing if I remove a debug statement. If I leave the debug statement in, it works. Which is like the worst thing ever. The worst thing ever. So, but like I can't check it in because I know it, like it crashes reliably when the debug statement's not there. It's just like, ugh. Yeah, that's why like the way that I approach problems like that is like either I take breaks and don't think about it, or I kind of like time box myself. So like I'm gonna spend an hour on this. That's a mission critical print statement. Yeah, I wonder if Dan would merge it with a print statement there. But like that's one option. We could totally do that. Like we could totally leave a print statement in there. We'll get there. I want to see if we can get this going first. So anybody an Arch user, how do I install NRF Connect? Yeah, there's this like NRF Connect app image. Has anybody used NRF Connect on Arch? Let's see what. I think that's right. Build files exist. 3.6. I wonder when that was updated. Is that the version we're going to need? October 24th. It might actually be too old. Yeah, Heisenbug. I have a question. What happened to the original BMP 280 from the Adafruit, the blue one? I need it for a project and the design files are made for that one. Is the new one the same size? Not necessarily. A lot of our sensor breakouts we've been redoing to the different form factor, like the stemma form factor. So definitely double check. I'm not sure. 3.6.1, thank you. Which means I should flag this as out of date. Minor changes, it's 3.6 though. Oh, look, I can log in. Is there a page for it? I should be nice to prove that my downloads, hardware files. Nothing related to the power profiler. Okay, this will do. 3.6.1 is out. Flag. Thank you. And there's NRF UDEV as well, which is neat. So I think I'm gonna want to install that. If I have to restart though, that would be bad. How do I restart UDEV? Do I need to do that? Is there any way I can still get one? If it's not on the site, if it's out of stock on the site, then I think that means that they've switched over. Email support@adafruit.com and ask them. If you're looking for a lot of them, they could probably make them for you. But I don't know. Sport is the place to ask. I do not know. Perfect. You all are so smart. Reload. Oh, that's in my history. Maybe I'll just do that. Rules. It's not plugged in yet, so I don't think I have to trigger it. Oh, and you can see the top of my browser. I can squish this down. Doot, doot, doot. Thank you, two of you. Two of you both Googled for me. Okay, so we should be ready to plug it in then. I still have to figure out what the command is to run, but I'll plug it in. So I'm plugging it into USB data and power, since we should only need one. And YouTube's complaining again. I wonder if it's Restream. I wonder if Restream's having a bit of trouble. If you're on YouTube, let me know if you're having problems. I don't know what I can do. I don't know what I can do if you're having problems, but something is happening. Oh, it is green, which is neat, and it's breathing. That's kind of neat. And then let's see, do I just do NRF connect? So it popped up. A new version is available. Would you like to upgrade? No. I've had a bad time with things upgrading themselves. Power profiler. Install. Lots of tools. I have used NRF Connect before. Can I get this module from Adafruit? I don't know what module you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about the Power Profiler kit? Last I checked, I don't think so. Well, Lady Ada was talking to Nordic about carrying it, but right now they're not. Sorry, I should have realized that's what you're talking about. But Digikey had them in stock last time I looked. And Digikey's awesome. So support Digikey. I think it's under evaluation and demonstration boards. Yep. Ha! They have 93 in stock for $92.50. So let me just do a share link and I will post that. Yeah, Digikey's awesome. Like they regularly sponsor Ada boxes. So yeah. Okay, and Bad Abby's not seeing any issues on YouTube. But yeah, this is really cool. This device is under $100, which is I think it's fair to say a new price point for power monitoring that can keep up with like sleep cycles of micros. Okay, so now the question we have is, well, did it go? I don't know why it's probably... This app only supports NRF Connect 361. Launch anyway. Let's see if it works. Get device. Does that mean that it didn't find the device? That's nice. It is plugged in. Maybe if I replug it in, might be UDEV problem. Might be dead in the water. It's not super critical. Like I can actually do my work if I don't get this working. But I was very interested in trying it. But oh wait, select device. Here we go. Silly me. Awesome. So now we're red, which probably means that we're waiting to go. And I think if we just do source meter, amp meter, measure current on the device, test powered externally. Okay. So this could be kind of an interesting project. Is the external part here, what we could do is get a little board here that basically is like the front plate of the power of the other thing that I made. Yeah, the jewel scope, right? So like this bit here, I could do in a smaller board that just like loops the power through the new thing. That would be pretty neat. But for now, what we have here is we have 4 pins that are labeled ground, V in, V out, and ground. So I assume what they're showing here is that we could just do the V out. So if we just do V out and ground, we should be able to power it. And then the question is do I have a connector? Which I probably do. I just don't have it on my desk. So what I need is like what would be a battery connector, but is not connected to a battery. Which what I have set up here is like I have, oh, you can't see me. So I've got like this box of random stuff, and I have a number of these on my desk. And then I also have in our laundry room, which is next door, I have a lot more stuff. So I'm not sure. I did just get a connector. The other thing we can look at is if we can't actually attach the power other places, which might be the fastest way to do it. But yeah, I don't see anything that would let me plug in as a battery, not being a battery. I'm pretty sure I have those cables, or just in the other room. Goes to show you how prepared I am. Let's see what's in here. Like, basically I want something like this, but this is for like a stemma. Yeah, Mi6 is showing me exactly what I need. That's why I like this one that does it over USB. But the problem with the USB one is that the USB one is 5 volts, and depending on the voltage, your efficiency changes. Let's just pull up the... So if you ever wanted to find a schematic, the way to do it is you can go to adafruit.com. You can search for the project that you want to know about. These products are then tied to Learn Guides. So you can see this says the primary guide is here. On the Learn Guide, you can go to Downloads. And on the downloads, we have data sheets and also the schematic. So both the schematic and there. If you have a battery connector, you can jam the bare wires into the DuPont sockets on the power meter. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I can figure it out. So what I'm curious about here, looking at the schematic, is here's the regulator. Well, how do I like kind of zoom in? Okay, we can close these. Ugh, that's so annoying. Let's squint. So here's the regulator. It's out, and it's the 3.3 volt line. The battery would come in through here. So if we go 3.3 volts, we are skipping stuff. There's LiPo monitoring that takes VBAT. So like we wouldn't do this circuitry here if we did that. Here's the LiPo input. Drag to select a zoom. No, it's like an image in Firefox. I could open it in something else. The other thing I'm curious about though is these stemma connectors, and they connect to VCC, and VCC here is... VCC is tied to either 3.3 or V-high. You know what? The better answer is for me to just go see if I have the cable that I need. So instead of like injecting power where we may not want it, I'm almost certain that I have this cable I need. So I'll just go grab that big box and we can look through it. Okay, so here's what I've got. Let me show you. So here's what I've got. I've got these bigger boxes. I have these on shelves in the laundry room, which is probably not what they're for. But these are pre-crimped wires. So these are the, I just got these, I'm excited. They're the silicone, the really nice silicone jumper wires. So there might be something in that box. But I also did just spot, like I have the 3 version, the 3 wire, but I don't know if I have 2 wire. Actually, you know what? I think, is the overhead high enough for me to kind of dig through here? Quality. Oh, I'm frozen. Why it does that. They do sell those silicone wires at Adafruit. It's really nice. Hi, George. Yeah, a number of people forgot. It's the cost of doing that. No worries. Happy to have you here. We're in the thick of digging for a cable. So yeah, here you go. If you want these silicone wires, these are the male to female ones, and you can see that they're product number 4635. 4635, these are female to female, these are 4447. Oh, and this is at least what I need. Like I can make this work. It's like a battery plug to another battery plug. There were cables in the box, but the cables in the box are like female to female. So these are the ones that were in the box. So worst case, I jam like something between these female headers and this battery female header. But I think there's a chance, like I've got enough stuff in here. Like here's the male to male silicone. They are 4482. That's an LED driver. That's in the wrong box. 2mm jack. This is 3 again. 3. Yeah, I might have all the 3 versions. Definitely like something that we do is just like have a lot of stuff in case we need it. Of course, if it's not the thing you need, then that's spectacular. All right, I don't see anything in here, so I think what we could do is just plug in. Yeah, let's do. I know what we should do. Yep. This is like the stemma version, but not the 2. Actually, let's look in this other box first. But one thing we can do is we can do male to female to that. So we'll set those aside. And the other thing, let's just look in this other box. So this is, I think, the one that has, like, they don't have the plastic bits on yet, which is handy if you want to, more 3-position stuff. Handy if you want to, like, piece them together. Wow. They're all 3 instead of 2. Wait. Oh, no, that one's 3 too. Permaproto boards. Oh, look, I have 2-position JST housing. Oh, you know, I might be able to put them together. These are pre-print JST black. Female to female. Oh, you know, I think I made my own. All right, that's enough digging through boxes. Makes for good YouTube. Okay, so I think what we can do is this. We're going to use 2 of these. I'm going to use a black one and a red one, and they're all nice and flimsy. I love it. Silicone is like resistant to like your soldering iron, which is good too. And then what I could do is I could take this just so I don't have to like plug it directly into the board. And where'd my MagTag go? Here's my MagTag. And maybe what we want is, I guess the NRF Connect is not actually going yet. Was deep diving in boxes. Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's do desktop with overhead. And if I start talking to the camera, remind me that I'm not, the camera can't see me right now. Okay, so I'm plugging into the battery spot. So that's in. And now I'm going to do this to V out. The nice thing about plugging into the battery is that it does get regulated. So if I give it like more than 3.3 volts, it'll be fine. If I were trying to like get directly into that, then I'd have a problem. Ooh, does this fit? Looks like it does. I think I actually started poking it out there, so I don't know how good our connection's gonna be. I don't think they're supposed to be able to do this, but we can take a look. As long as they're touching, right? And I don't know if this code that's on here will actually tell you that anything's happening. Like this is an old output, but we can tell with the power monitor whether something's happening. So let's see what the voltage is set to. And it's set to 4,000 millivolts, which is like a good safe number. Like LiPo batteries range from 3.7 or 3.5 to like 4.2 when they're fully charged. So let's see, we're on source meter, device under test powered by the PPK2, enable power output, and start sampling. So look at that. We got it running. Thank you, Me6. Enable power. So it's a little hard to see here. I think we're on, it says delta of 7 seconds. But we want like really long. Let's do 1 minute. It looks kind of chunky. So it is working. Like you can see it go down here and the window is there. It's kind of interesting. So it spiked way up to 0.8 amps. I think it does that when it starts up. Oh, look. Here, it's waiting for me. So the sequence of here is if I hit... This is my test code for sleep. So, or for pin alarm. So the way it works is it waits for 5 seconds and then it turns the lights red and does a light sleep based on time for 10 seconds. And then it goes into this mode where it's sleeping, it's light sleeping, the lights are green, it's light sleeping waiting for a button press. And then it goes into deep sleep. So this is deep sleep. If we just switch back to like 1 second, we can see we're averaging 242 microamps, which is pretty decent. But then if I hit the button, it should wake up again. Now it's sleeping. So this is where it's 42 milliamps is where we're sleeping with CircuitPython running. So that's like a time.sleep. And then at some point it will do a, I'm trying to remember. Should do a light sleep. It takes like 15 seconds though. Or it could be busted. It could be broken too. Let's get the UART output going. We can see if we hit that case that we were talking about earlier of the crash that only happens when the debug output's not there. So I just plugged in the UART output. So we should be able to go back to here and do screen. But the USB to serial does USB 0. Nice, Me6 gets their MagTag today. It's just getting better and better. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the reset button on the side. And we can watch it. And we should have seen at least a little bit of boot output here, but maybe not. Mr. Certainly says, how do you like it when compared to the Joule scope? This is the first bit I've used it with. If you're new to following power monitoring though, like this is much cheaper. Just start with this, right? I like the NRF Connect software. Yeah. Why use screen instead of TO? I'm just used to screen. It's like 1/8 the cost. Yeah. Yeah. The dual scope is like $700 or $800, whereas this is under $100. So like, yeah, you can't compete on price. Like they're two different price points, and like clearly, this is enough to like see what we're doing. So if I were to do it again, I would just get one of these. I really do like on the Joule scope. I do like that the faceplates, like they have like templates for making your own faceplate. So I'll definitely miss like like how this faceplate works with the like inline USB switch, but like I can easily do that. Like I can design a smaller OshPark board that just plugs into the side of this one and does the same thing for me. So like I'll probably just do that. Because it's like all in line. It has the USB stuff as well. Auto reconnect saves hours of your life. Well, at least with this is the USB output, which I don't know. Oh, I know why it's not working. It's not working because I didn't. Oh no, I did. Did I accidentally pull it out? Maybe I did. Let's plug in the green one and see if we get something. There we go. This one's okay because the USB to serial converter just stays alive. It doesn't matter what I do to this, but yeah, you're right. I mean, I should. You're not wrong. I'm just set in my ways. Okay, so the green lights are on. Let's see if we can hit that bug. This is where I kind of want to end up. I'm behind on email, so I think Dan probably got back to me. And we can check that. So now we're deep sleeping. And now we wake up and we crash. So that's the backtrace that has been plaguing me. Use TIO with TMUX. Yeah, I need to be better about that stuff. This is the crash that has been giving me all sorts of problems to the degree that I recognize this pointer value as the pointer value for... So the reason that it crashes, and I can show you this, is if you do backtrace, you copy the backtrace, you go to ESP... Well, yeah. I just restarted before the stream like I normally do, so I have to do the like export stuff to get the environment right. But then you do Python tools decode backtrace, which is just something I created, but I copied how other stuff did it. And then you can paste the backtrace in there, and now what you get out is like it takes all these addresses and calls address to line. Yeah, you're welcome. I love silicone wires, so I was like super stoked when those were released. I've got all of these plasticky ones, and I just like maybe I should just get rid of them. You saw how many I have. I should just purge all my non-silicone wires. Only the best. So yeah, so the crash here is in obj.c, which is not great. There's the title. I put it there so I could copy and paste it. So I think this is the last thing I was doing in this editor. So if we go to obj.c, you can see I have print stuff set up, and you can see, yeah, I have it actually printing the obj pointer and the type pointer. So if we go back to the terminal output, you can see these two prints. We have obj pointer and type pointer. And this type pointer is not right. It is CB6 when it should be like 3F something, 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 something. Now, the way that I fix this is if I go in pin alarm, I think. So the problem is that when you wake up, yeah. So let's uncomment this. When you wake up, you say, hey, what woke me up? And we produce an object for you. And that object tells you like, oh, it was a pin alarm and it was on this pin. So that's what this is doing, is that like get wake up alarm. Let's see, how much room do I have? Not much. Get wake up alarm can take any number of alarm objects, but these alarm objects are only there if you light sleeped or you if you light sleeped. Otherwise, we don't get any. So first it tries to match in case you did a light sleep, but then if it doesn't match, it then gets more information from the lower level system and reconstructs the object for you. So this is and it does this when the heap is alive. So we do an allocation. We set the type. This is the thing that is not right. In like just a little bit later, we set pin null, and then we look in the list of all the pins to match the number up, and we put that back in there. Now, if we just uncomment this is my comment to myself. So if I just do a log, and that log is just of an unrelated term, right? It's just another string. But if I save this, and let's see, what else do I need? I need to be able to build it and load it again. Which I don't know how the power meter is going to like that, getting power from something else, but that's okay. I did get this, talking about neat stuff that Adafruit carries. Since I am funded by them, this is what you get. But something I just picked up from the store as well is one of these. This is a USB type A. It has the inline switch between charge and data, and then type C, because we're like basically all our new boards have type C now. Toddbot says, could this be an ARM byte versus word alignment thing? I had the same thought. I think it's not ARM. It's Extensa, right? Because it's the ESP. So it wouldn't be ARM, but like I did have this thought of alignment being the issue. It's something, yeah, but the type value itself is 32 bits. So like I would expect it to be aligned already. Like 32 bits are typically aligned. So what I'm going to do is, we're already powered up. I should be okay plugging both power sources in. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to hold the boot button and the reset button while I plug in, if I can. And then I let go of the reset button. Well, maybe I failed at that. Trying to get it into, right, I did. I was trying not to run CircuitPython. So that's that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load it. This is good. This is the work that I wanted to be doing right now. So sit tight. I wouldn't be surprised if I did go over a little bit. I don't know why my history. This is the problem. I have this thing that's wrong in my history. Like the idea of having different histories for different terminals, like instances, is just like the worst idea ever. Like I don't remember which instance it was. Okay, so if we look at our diff, we can see that we've uncommented the alarm. If we look at ACM, we should have, we have a lot. Let's do sudo dmessage. We have a lot because the power profiler kit must be that. So the serial for the ESP is ACM3. So when we make, we have to give it the right port. So we're going to flash that. And we can also see, I like this, that you can see that it's in bootloader mode based on the URL as well. But yeah, Toddbot, I thought about alignment. I kind of feel like we actually have to like maybe disassemble, like compare the assembly language stuff of this versus, yeah, like the two different versions of this function. That's like the only thing I could think of. I was actually like, I really want to pick Dan's brain about it. And actually, let's see here. Let's take this tab. I don't need that anymore. Let's see if Dan got back to me on the PR. Oh, if you do build CircuitPython, heads up, we switched to GCC 10. I think I talked about this on a previous stream. that like we try to keep up to date with GCCs because they tend to make our build smaller. And they did release last week. So Dan did the work to get us fully switched over. So if you are on the latest CircuitPython, just make sure that you have GCC 10.2. I've actually been using that a while because like Arch doesn't rely on ARM to release GCC. But if you do, like typically most people use ARM's version of GCC. How much memory saved? Congrats, Dan. Keep the EE, yeah. What do you mean by how much memory saved? And the CircuitPython team as a whole. Yeah, it's cool. Pin alarming. Let's see if Dan got back to me. So I did it as a draft because it doesn't work. And Ivan was nice enough to get back to me saying all peripherals are clock gated during light sleep. The RTC stuff are the only ones that can keep working. So that basically means like we really shouldn't be calling light sleep. Or we could do, so I don't know if you noticed, but when we're on USB, and I can show you this, the red lights work, but if it's off USB, the red lights don't work. And that's because the neopixels on this thing are power gated. So there's like a transistor that can either have power to it or not. And it's off by default, but if you set it high, it will turn it on. It doesn't look like... Oh, how much memory was saved over GCC 9? You're saying it was better optimized. Yeah, so Dan did some minor comparisons. I had done it. I had seen up to like a kilobyte of flash space. It doesn't look like Dan got back to me. And like the build is really unhappy, which I'll have to look at, which I could look at. But again, it crashes, which is like so frustrating. Let's just take a look at the commit for GCC 10. And we have some, I haven't even got through my email. Usually like some of these will be handled already. I had to like get not snow tires, but tire chains. We're going to Mount Rainier, and I didn't realize that they require you to have chains in your car in case the weather gets bad. Misik says, which CircuitPython build would you recommend for the MagTag right now? We want to play with deep sleep. Pick the absolute newest one. Absolute newest one from Amazon S3 is what I would do. We really need to get another beta out, so just do absolute newest. You should be fine. And the GCC 10 thing doesn't impact ESP32-S2 because it's not ARM. So beware of that as well. I think it's actually like probably pretty old. Update to GCC 10. So we actually had this open for a while. You can see this is 23 days ago. We like revisited it. We ran out of space, so we were revisiting it. But then only a couple days ago did ARM actually release their version. It's now working on all builds. Dan realized that when we updated it, we did have issues where -02 caused some of the SAMD builds to get bigger. And oh, here's some numbers. So SAMD 51 builds I think use O2 are all much too large now. So I think he says that'll need to be rolled back to OS. That's not true. That didn't actually happen. But QtPy M0 German went from having 196 bytes free and now has 692 bytes free. So what is that? 500 bytes on a small build, which is pretty good. And then Dan realized that there was changes about what O2 meant. And so I think what Dan's ended up doing was just setting flags differently. Let's see, we can look. Yeah, if you have Ubuntu, like these are .debs, I think that we're using. Yeah, Keith E says that's a huge savings. Yeah, like GCC just gets better and better, which is awesome. There's some fixes here, maybe for like more checking that was added. Yeah. So these are just like compilation fixes with the new version of the compiler. And so in the make file, so for all the things that we were doing O2, we just had to do O2 and no inline functions. That's why it got bigger. And the reason inline functions can make things bigger because it's basically copying things in places so that you don't have to go somewhere else. And there's also this free feature tree VRP, which I don't know what that is, but it's optimization and checking, which I think Dan thought was a good thing. A couple boards had to get SuperOpt GC0, which makes them smaller. But yeah, just a few tweaks. Overall better. You were listening to me on your trip to the recycling center. So how old is beta 2? That's the one I use, but have a bit of an issue with the MagTag library and Wi-Fi. Should I be using the ones from AWS? Give them a shot. Like, things have just gotten better. We really need to do a beta. If you want to know how old beta 2 is, the easiest way to find out is to just go look like the date that it was released, which is November 16th. Or no, that's not true. That's the stable release. But if you hit releases, I don't like that quite as much. So 2 weeks. So Dan released beta 2 14 days ago. So we'll probably do one next week. I think we're kind of running out of time this week. Bruce S says, I think Wi-Fi keeps getting fixes in Maine. Yeah. If you ever have problems, try the latest. Okay, so what I was doing, I was going to complain about this bug some more. I really don't have a lot of ideas about how to fix this problem. The one thing we can do is we can like one thing that could be happening is that we could be setting it and then it could be getting overwritten. And fun when printf fixes the problem. Yeah. Yeah, the power thing is still going. Oh, it's getting 0 amps though because this is interesting because it's being powered by USB. Here I could stop sampling for a while. So we're in the bootloader, and I think all I have to do is hit reset. Now what I'm going to do, because I don't want it to enumerate, I'm actually just going to flip the switch to charge and then hit the reset button. And so what we should see is that it'll do a light sleep. Oh, I guess I can't watch the power. See, I'm used to monitoring USB power, which I'm not doing. But there's like 15 seconds of sleep at the start. Because it's like trying to test all of the different ways of sleeping, and therefore all the different ways that we do the like pin alarming. Because we basically, like, if you're not actually going to sleep, we just use the GPIO interrupt. Okay, so now the green is showing, and it is asleep. The reason the green works now is that the pin state is maintained if you're doing waking up on pin state. So that's why the green works, but the red doesn't. But if I hit the button, that'll get through. And now we'll go into deep sleep. And the issue comes as we wake up from deep sleep. So that's the wake up. There you can see our type print, and then you can see the two prints there from the obj.c call that usually fails. So this is the thing that was like 3 digits and not all of these digits without the print. I need to get my other glass of water. I do want to poke at this a little bit more. It's like one of those things where it's like very taxing to work on. It's like no fun. Like bugs like this are zero fun. I mean, maybe Jeff could help if he was able to replicate it in, like, he has GDB working pretty well. So like using a proper debugger could make it easier. But really, like, printf debugging shouldn't impact it. Okay, so have a second glass of water and some focus on this issue. So let's just see what we can do. So one avenue I was going down is basically, can I put, like, what variety of things can I put there that make it still work? Exactly. Bruce S. just said, I wonder if other code instead of the log fixes it. Yeah, I think that's an interesting avenue to go down. And then like figuring out like what the minimal thing is. So you can see I actually put this as cert. So basically trying to read the value back. Me6 says, Adafruit should get sales commissions from Digikey. Everything featured on Ion NPI goes out of stock quickly. We get paid to do Ion NPI by Digikey. So we do. We do get paid by Digikey to do that. I wonder how many PPK2 got sold. Does adding a small delay change behavior? That's one side effect of printf. Yeah. You would think that would make it... The problem is the way I would debug this is by printing stuff. I think there is a way to do like ETS. So what if I don't use the logging system? What if I do, I think it's ETS ROM printf. Like, what if I use the ROM to print? I think that's what it is. ETS ROM printf. Nope. That's not it. When my use is the only thing. It might be ETS UART. I think they changed the name. Oh, maybe it's not that at all. Oh, it's just ETS printf. I was thinking maybe it was just like if I... Yeah, let's try that. Oh, look, you can even do like a sock, like a low-level log. But see, the log formatting is more intense. Like, what if I really want to do just like something super simple? Okay, so this is where I'm going to have to snag it from. So let me just copy that. And then let's just do ETS printf. And we'll just print a string. Digikey found my order. Oh, Talkbot says, I would say generating the map file for each compile with and without the print. With and without the print, look at the addresses of the relevant variables and functions. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Let's try this and then we'll try that. So let's print. Do I have this already? All right, let's just see if this changes things. You just gotta try stuff until it works. I fixed another similar bug yesterday. Just like, I don't understand why that did that, but okay. Okay, so I click it. I click this back on. Yeah, the PPK2 was Ion MPI like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago now, when I first missed ordering it. Okay, let's see if that compiles. It should. Oh, it's not used. I mean, maybe that tag is in memory and it's probably in memory right next to it. So that could shift it. If it is really an alignment issue. Oh, nice. The AWS version does fix my issue. Great. Yeah, things have been getting much better, which is why I'm like just about done with it. Like, this is the last thing I need to do before I can take a break from it. I'm hoping Jeff and Dan will bug hunt for me. Dan's really good at bug hunting. Oh, Mark, that's a good point. I've not been following fully. Can you recap again the issue? Is it that as debug build it works, but release it doesn't, or the other way around? And is it just a basic log, or does it use any variables, or no? It was a basic log. Without the log, it works. They're both debug builds. But the production build also crashes, and maybe I should just double check that as well. But since this one's set, let's take a look at how it goes. Maybe I should make it act faster. It's got like 15 seconds of oop. See, I have to disable it because it works on. So this is the code. So it's red right now. So this is on USB. Now it's green. And it works. And it starts up. Waits 5 seconds. Now it's red, and it's waiting 10 seconds. So it works on USB. Correct. It crashes if we remove the log. So it works on USB. So what I've actually got to do is I've got to flip the data lines off. Got to hit reset. And now CircuitPython will do sleeps as if it's off USB. Yeah, timing is a side effect. Good ideas, folks. I will be so happy if we can figure this out. I would love it if we could get this working, because it's like I said, it's like the last thing that's like hanging over my head. Okay, so now we're deep sleeped. And it failed. So this is with let's see. Yeah, so it crashes if we just do a regular print. I wonder if it's this. Like maybe we're not aligning functions like we should, which would be bizarre that we're just seeing it now. We shouldn't. We're not in an ISR. This is just get wake up alarm. So this is. I have the backtrace. Here. So we're like main. We're like in the VM. And the crash is actually like in the VM. We construct this object. We set the type. We return it. We then try to say, is this object true? Because there's an if statement. So it's if wake alarm. So like if there's a wake alarm at all, this coding language this is the C that's underneath CircuitPython. So the high level is written in CircuitPython, and do I have it here? I might have to open it again. Yeah, so this is what it's doing. This is the code that's on there. So we do some imports. We say if wake alarm, then we print it out. And this is what's crashing, this statement here, because it calls MP_obj is true. So if we look back at this, obj.c.159 is in MP_obj is true. So this is MP_obj is true. And so we're trying to figure out, oh, here's some object, do we consider it true? So it's like, if it's false, then no. If it's true, then yes. If it's none, then no. This is like very weird. A lot of programming languages do this. They have a notion of truthiness. So like many values can be evaluated to whether it's true or false. So this is the logic that we have that decides whether it's true or false. And so what it's doing is it's getting the type, and then it's trying to dereference the unary op on the type. And the problem is that the type pointer here is wrong. And so you're getting a load prohibited trying to dereference this thing because the pointer is to the wrong. It's to like outside of main memory. That's why it's failing. And the prints there don't impact it. So let's go on this alignment thing. Let's see if we can't get these bugs are the worst. I'm going to work on this on the stream, and then if I can't get it working, I'm just done. I'm going to take a weekend, and I'll come back to it. Hopefully. Yeah, Christina, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I love questions on my streams, so. But yeah, so this is probably the hardest bug that I've done in a long time, and the hardest bug that I've done on the stream. Like, phantom bugs like these are a pain. Okay, so we wanted to have tag here. This print doesn't help. So maybe what we do is we undo until we get the one that does. So let's start from like quote unquote working. So that's the log statement that does help. And the tag is there. So what happens if we comment out the log statement? But the problem is that when we do that, the compiler gets unhappy. So I did test that version, right? Okay, so we should be in the bootloader. Let's flash it. Right. So it says, hey, this is not used. Like, you should delete it. Let's not do that. I think another thing we can do is, a trick is you could do void tag. Tag will be optimized out now. Maybe. Let's also do what Todd was suggesting. Let's first look at, let's open our build directory. Let's do Adafruit MagTag firmware elf.map. So this is the memory layout of everything. The function that we care about is this get wake up alarm. So let's find it in here. Get wake up alarm. So here we can see a string. Okay, so this is interesting. Size before relaxing. So let's just copy this. The whole function is C bytes long, but it was relaxed from 2C. So I don't know what that means, but it's possible that the relaxing is failing us. Oh, Vim, I love you until I don't love you. I don't want visual mode. I just want to copy and paste it outside of Vim. I want to copy it outside of that world. Okay, let's see. Do I thought I had a scratch file. I think I closed it. New file. Ah! Why can't I copy? Screw it. Yeah, the void trick will still optimize it out. I think you're probably right. Set mouse minus equals A. What does that do? I'm going to use my go-to here. And it wrapped. I do want the pin alarm one. So I was looking at the wrong one. I was looking at time alarm, but I want the pin alarm version. So here we have... And that was a literal as well. Use Pico or Nano. I know, folks. I'm not the tool person. So there's one. Discord. Discord is a chat that lasts all day. So if you want to join Discord, you're welcome to. I think I typed it out right. Okay, so this is the version pre-tag. So let's just try it. We suspect that it'll be optimized away. This is the version with... This is the version with the log that did not help. Am I not clicked in? I am. I might have to unplug it. What? Is my USB unhappy? Is it trying to add insult to injury? ACM3. MagTag. Might have made it unhappy here. Okay. Which USB is this? I'm running out of juice, folks. This bug might have to wait till next week. Until somebody more persistent than me can figure it out. Okay. Did we get anything else? Did we reset? I don't think we should have reset. Oh, you know what? We're on charge. Why do I do that to myself? I should know by now to make sure the switch is flipped. Try it now. Okay, so this is the version that has tag, we hope. But may not, actually. Reset it. I did reset it. All right, we'll go 10 more minutes max, and then we'll be done. Bugs like this, you just gotta hammer on. But, like, I can't do it for a long time. I get too frustrated. All right, we're in. Oh. I probably made it unhappy. I forgot to switch it before I reset it. Which is important because it only happens when it's not USB enumerated. Bugs are the worst. I agree. Bugs are the worst. If only I could write bug-free code. Okay, this camera's working still. Gareth says, I often wake up and sit down and the bug I wrestled for hours the night before melts away. Some hammer, some rest. Yeah, true. But I had this problem 2 days ago, and I did not work on it yesterday. So I should be ready to tackle it some more. Yeah, I don't. Nerodoc says, bug-free code, where's the fun in that? While true, do nothing, only bug-free code I can write. Yeah, easiest way to make bug-free code is to delete all the code, right? Oh, it's waiting for me. That's a problem. Yeah, the other thing I was going to do is like check to see the value is correct, and if it was correct, if it wasn't correct, then print. So like instead of having that print there all the time, we could add something that like conditionally does it. All right, we're waking up and we crashed. It's always CB6. It's always CB6. So the tag didn't work. Let's just do... I think it's... Things are green. I think it's working. I wish that was the case. It was waiting for me to press it. Yeah. Juan Carlos says, my favorite list of changes on an Android app was fixing some bugs, adding some more to be discovered later. It's true. It's very true. Okay, so we want pin alarm, get wake up. So this is interesting here. Alarm, pin alarm, get wake up is now 100 long rather than what it was last time, which was more. But even when it was more, it didn't work. So this is with, I think this one is ROM print. This is what is it? No print? No print. And it still crashes. Aha. I don't care to save it. Pin alarm. Void. All right, so now we need to know just like what does it do if there. Okay. So we're off USB, so I'll get it in bootloader. I'll flip it back on. And I'll build it again. With the log that fixes it. I just want to see like the file size. Is all of your connections right, or is it a software bug? It's definitely a software bug. It's a software bug because I can copy the fault. Oh, the real fault trace? Yeah. Heads up. It's definitely a software bug because this print fixes it. Who wants a print there? What should it say? That's the other thing. What if we print an empty string? Is that enough? Okay, so we flashed. Let's snag the pin alarm, get wake up alarm. Is here now. Just for comparison. I don't know if that's the tells us. The other thing we could do is there's a way to disassemble. Like we could straight up just see the disassembly. With IDF log. Ah, I keep doing that. It's so in my brain to just like save. Okay, now I have to turn the switch off, hit reset. And it should work. This is the thing that should work. This is like very like not beginner decoding or coding. Like these sorts of bugs are the worst. the worst. Like being able to handle bugs like this comes with seniority, but also seniority gets you to the point where you can architect software better, which is the part that I enjoy more than this. Okay, it's green. It's waiting for me. I hit the button. It goes away. It's deep sleeping. I hit the button again. It should wake up. Like that's the code I'm actually working, and it works. Now it works. Okay. If I had GDB, I could disassemble it. And in fact, I probably can. Extensa GDB. I don't actually have to connect. I could just load it. Build MagTag firmware elf. It's gonna try to connect to the debugger. It will time out at some point. But let's go one step farther and do disassemble. Wait, why is it green now? Oh, because it's working. That's right. Disassemble the function name. Alarm get pin get wake alarm. It has an attribute. Huh. Well, bam. Okay. I've never looked at extensive assembly before. This is a fitting way to end the first year of streaming. It's truly a deep dive. Okay, so plus 63. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare the two. I don't know how this is going to help us, but maybe it will. Okay. We end with assembly. It's true. I would like to understand assembly more. Any deeper and you'd be into the silicone. I'd like to get there. I'd love to do system on a chip design. Okay. So I think I copied it all. Hopefully I didn't miss one. Okay, let's Control D. Now we have to go back. This is the working version. Comment it out. Comment it out. I thought it might have been the include, but it's not the include. Oh, that's true. Whenever I read about how modern CPUs optimize pipelines and such, I'm glad for a compiler. It's possible, like it's a memory access ordering thing. I don't know. I'm about done. All right, it's running. Get into the bootloader. Flip the switch. I don't like these switches on these things, but they work. Build it, flash it. And this here, folks, is why it's called a deep dive. 100%. If you wanted to look at extensa assembly with me. So we'll just confirm this doesn't work, which I don't know why it would, because we've done it already before where it didn't work. Yeah, it is interesting. I just had this thought of like, it is external memory. Keith E says this week on deep dives, race conditions. Race conditions are also very bad. The nice thing about this bug is that you can reproduce it. So I guess it's not the worst type of bug. It's like second worst. It is consistent. which is good. So just flip the switch off. Now I'm resetting. It's running. Should be off. Maybe turn off the optimizer for that function. Yeah, that's something we could do. Yeah, our deep dives are usually 2 hours long. We're a bit over 2 hours now. We're almost at 2:30. But Mr. certainly has the joke. Knock knock, race condition, who's there? Yeah, Mark Gambler says these types of bugs and race conditions are two of the worst bugs. 100%. Okay, it's waiting for us. So this is the one that should fail. Now it's waiting for me to wake up. And it crashes. Okay, so it still exists. Let's now do the GDB line that we did. And it's going to take a little time. What I'm going to do, it's going to be hard to see. You're not going to be, I'm going to have to make it really slow. Oh, nice. Professor Sparkle says, yay, at least I solved my own bug in the meantime. Nice work. Okay, so let's open a new file. And I'm going to copy the extensa from this. Can I hit up? No. I want to do the same thing. Disassemble that. And I want to do it in another tab because I want to compare the two. And I'm going to do it manually because that's what I feel like doing. So I think what we'll see is we should see that the bulk of this is the same. And then at some point, like towards the end of the function, it's going to be different. But I could be wrong. Could be very wrong. Send me that log, please. The one with the register contents. Yes, I can do that. You want register contents? Goodbye, Tech for Kids. Welcome to the deep dive world. Thanks for hanging in there. I think you were there a lot of the show. Okay, 30A3 was the last one I did. And look at it's shorter. Okay. And okay, so let me, I think I can, tell me when you can't read it. That might be a bit small, but I'm gonna do view. How do I do that? Layout, 2 column. This over here. And then this one needs to be this. Okay, so it's much longer, or no, it's not much longer. Okay, hopefully it's similar. Lol, too late. I can make it bigger if you want. Now that we have them side by side. Can I make this go away? View. Distraction free mode. Oh dear. It covered the whole screen. I can at least shrink it a little bit. It's fine, I will approach my TV. Okay, I think that's about good. So, okay, let me scroll this side. Entry. There's an extra move. Wait, which one of these works? This one, the one on the left works. The run on the right does not work. That's important to know. Broken. Okay, that should help. Okay, so actually let's start from the bottom because our code is at the bottom and theoretically it's there. So the working code has a return and a call. I might be way out of my depth here. Oh, okay. Here's a reference point. So on the right-hand side, we have this, which is mmalloc. And so that is the, let's see, if we look at the code, so here's the full function. We do this while loop or for loop. And here's new object. Compare the register value with the addresses. I don't know what you mean. So new object is going to call mmalloc. So what we know basically is on the right hand side, like assuming it's not doing tricks of like looping this for loop back, which is probably not, because here's a J is jump. Here's another jump. Like the first jump could be equivalent to the break, and the second yeah, the branch B and E is branch not equal, so that's going to be doing the conditional on the for loop, and then the well wait what the jump, maybe it's the no, I don't know. Let's go back. Let's just take a look at what this looks like. So where's the malloc? Over here. So here's the malloc that matches up here. Yeah, so the code's up. If people want to take a look at it, I'd love to know that you can replicate the problem. I'm like definitely at a loss. Oh, it is in extensive tools. In disassemble, you can interleave the source. Why would the shorter version not work? I think we've got to call it. I think I went over my 10 minutes. I mean, nothing. I'll find an example. Yeah, I just disassembled me a GDB. But I'm not like. I am out of my depth. And I really don't. Like, compile scope function parameter. Like this is like, I assume these calls here are like all the, this is all the branch or all of the logging stuff. Like we have a pretty nice tight loop here. Like what is call? I don't know what. Wait. It's doing task stuff. I really... Oh, I can't actually ban this person in Twitch. Sorry, Twitch folks. Maybe I'll see if Jeff wants to take a stab at this. Because the other thing that you can do is you can do a watch point. So a watch point is like a breakpoint, but it stops whenever a particular memory address changes. So like you set it, you'll see it change, and then you could see it change again. Yeah, I just don't like the question. Like this code has the bug, right? Like, yeah, yeah, it's that code has the bug. The code on the left does not, but the code on the left is more complicated. It has just more stuff in it. Yeah, sorry. What code is at that address? In the latest thing? In the bad version. In the bad version, which is what I have. Right, that's the last thing I compiled. So get it out of there. I can find that address in the firmware map. 4008 F7. So we're in 4008. So we just need to go, we're 8.2. 8, 3, 8, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F. F7E is NP obj is true. Yeah, so we're in here. So that's just where we're working. All right, I'm done. I have pitched this challenge to you all. This code, if you do want to take a stab at it, is in this draft PR. I would love it if somebody would figure out what the problem was. It is not a simple bug. I'm basically to the point where I'm going to pull Dan and Jeff in on this. Gareth says, thank you all for the deep dive, Scott. Really appreciate your approach. I always learn things from you and the community. Stay safe and see you next year. Thank you, Gareth. It's been a pleasure. I do enjoy doing these things. Just remembered I have an errand to do now, so I need to go do that. Again, I won't be... What lighting are you using to illuminate your handsomeness? This light is the key light from... Wow, my brain is gone. They make mice and stuff. It's the key light thing. Can we get a quick update on the cat? The cat's in his bed. It is dark out. You can see, I think that we were talking about. So these streams, I do them every Friday usually. Yeah, Elgato, thank you. I do these every week, usually 2 p.m. Pacific, taking a couple weeks break here for the holidays. Tentatively back on January 8th. So keep an eye out for there. Thank you all for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I do enjoy these even when I'm busy. It was really nice to get a fuller sense of your workflow when things, well, don't work right off the bat. Yeah, I think it's good. I'm comfortable in my inabilities, and I'm happy to show those off. So if you want to support me, please support Adafruit. Adafruit pays me to work on all this stuff full time. They pay me to stream to you. So go to adafruit.com, purchase something. If you like the power kit from Nordic, we like Nordic. They're friends of Adafruit. Digikey is as well, and they have them in stock. So go ahead and pick one up from Digikey if you're doing any sort of low power work. I think that's it. Keep an eye out for the CircuitPython 2021 kickoff post. I would love to hear what folks want to see CircuitPython do in the next year. So start thinking about that, and then what we'll do is we'll each everybody does individual blog posts, and every time we hear about them, we have a running list of blogs we'll do new blogs every time we see a blog. and link to the new one and all the past ones as well. So thank you all. Happy holidays, and I will talk to you next year. Oh, wait, Discord. So I will be around on Discord. I'm not like completely disappearing. So if folks want to hang out with the other folks that have been in this chat, go to the Adafruit Discord server, which is adafru.it/Discord. And we'll be there. And there is a CircuitPython meeting next week. I will not be there because I'm taking the day off or half day off. But yeah, thank you all again, and talk to you next year. We'll go out on a cat. I'll go pet Spook here. Hi. All right. Happy holidays, everybody.